Camille's, and for my deep dive, I will be discussing feminism in La Belle Epoque. Conventionally dated between 1880 and 1914, La Belle Epoque is a part of first-wave feminism, which was chiefly concerned with obtaining civic rights for women, such as the right to vote, the right to divorce, and the right to equal pay. The political and economic stability characterized the Belle Epoque generated space for women to rethink their roles in society in terms of Republican ideas. The first decade of the Belle Epoque, with its education and legislation reform, that not only proved to be victories in themselves, but helped to facilitate further societal change. For instance, the Camille Law of 1880 established lycées for women, which allowed them to pursue secondary and university prep education. In 1882, the Jules Ferry laws were passed, which established that primary education be mandatory for not only boys, but girls as well. Finally, the Epoque Law of 1884 re-established women with the right to divorce, which had been abolished since 1860. The Belle Epoque also witnessed developments in technology that propelled women to new social achievements. In the 1890s, the safety bicycle with its chain-drive transmission had been invented, thus making the Hardsmaster high-rated big-wheel bike obsolete. The safety bike expanded women's social mobility and helped to instill a sense of independence. Bicycle riding allowed daughters and wives to travel greater distances alone and out of sight of their husbands and fathers. With the bicycle, women could be more active in their community. By the late 1890s, these forces had culminated into the development of the Femme Nouvelle, or New Woman. Often described as white, educated, urban middle-class women, the Femme Nouvelle challenged traditional notions of proper female conformance by, for example, working in the public sphere, exercising control over their personal finances, declining to marry, or refusing to bear children. These Femme Nouvelle were not without their opponents, however. Indeed, their modernizing views on womanhood and femininity challenged age-old tradition embedded in the civil code. Many saw these women as undermining the structure of the family by leaving the house and refusing to subjugate herself to her husband. Amidst a society in which the birth rate was declining and pronatalism the self-defense policy, these Femme Nouvelle were charged with radicalism. The bicycle, itself a symbol of the women's movement, came under heated debate in the political arena, where conservatives were concerned with the bike riding's effect on women's reproductive health. Many Femme Nouvelle took to literature to promote their views. In 1897, the newspaper La France made its first publication. La France, literally translated to slingshot, was staffed exclusively by women. The politically charged newspaper frequently advocated for women's admission to the Bar Association and for women to be allowed to be named to the Legion of Honor. La France, however, limited itself through discussing politics and its self-acknowledged feminist label. It failed to extend its influence beyond Paris, where the Femme Nouvelle movement was thriving. The women's movement of the Belle Epoque was not a homogeneous one. Many forms of feminism existed in France, as represented by the numerous groups active. Some were Republican activists fighting for universal suffrage. Some were conservatives who banded together in their concerns for welfare of children. Still, others were working-class socialists interested in protecting women laborers through unionization. Still then, not every woman referred to herself as a feminist. The more traditional woman readily rejected the feminist label and its untraditional, masculine inclinations. More moderate, less politically charged literature occupied the void which La France failed to fill. For instance, developments in photography allowed for the first photographic magazines to be developed. The Femina and La Vie Heureuse are two examples of these magazines. By avoiding the label of feminist, these magazines adhere to a conservative format to circulate both conventional and unconventional ideas about gender. Importantly, as fashion magazines, they appeal to upper-class, provincial Republican women who were by all means a marginal group in the feminist movement. These magazines were important in extending feminism beyond Paris and urban areas. Femina was especially important, with 3 times the sales of Le Monde at its peak. It outsold popular newspapers such as Le Temps, Figaro, and Leclerc. Uniquely, Femina frequently polled their readers on matters that concerned them. With each survey they polled, Femina received thousands of letters from their readers. Although Femina did not ask the most provocative questions, the questions they did ask gave readers an opportunity to reflect on the female identity. Femina also frequently displayed images of women playing sports and as capable individuals. The images in Femina helped to pacify the hostility and hysteria towards feminism in the women's movement. Fictional novels were another important literary medium by which views on feminism were expressed. Authors such as Marguerite Emery, Marcel Tenner, Louise Compiègne wrote novels such as Monsieur Venus, La Jean-Luce, La Rebelle, and L'Une vers l'Autre, in which fictional female heroines subverted normal gender roles while still appreciating traditional notions of womanhood and domesticity. Like the magazines Femina and La Vie Heureuse, these authors and their works played an important role in spreading feminist ideals. In her article titled Fashion and Fin de Siècle Feminism in Rachil's La Jean-Luce, Heidi Zender, an associate professor of French and comparative literature at the University of California, Riverside, uses such fictional novels to attest to the heterogeneity of the feminist movement. Zender analyzes Marguerite Emery's, also known as Rachil's, 1900 novel titled La Jean-Luce. Specifically, Zender analyzes Rachil's treatment of fashion and the way in which it attests to the heterogeneity and generational differences of fin de siècle feminism. Rachel, Zender argues, shows her own discontent towards the homogenizing new woman through her character, Eliante. Eliante, who is thought to be Rachel's fictional version of herself, shows great discontent for the homogenizing new woman. It is Eliante's belief that the new woman has lost their individuality as opposed to championing it. Zender highlights that the death of Eliante is acknowledgement from Rachel that the solitary subversive artist that she herself embodies is an outdated feminism, one to be replaced by the collective action of the new woman. In his article titled Ready for Progress? Opinion Surveys on Women's Roles and Opportunities in Belle Epoque France, Leonard Berlinstein seeks to understand how feminists, particularly the disruptive acts of the new woman, were received by French women. To do so, Berlinstein analyzes opinion surveys distributed by the magazine Femina. Berlinstein states that in upper-class provincial women, the readers of Femina were a swing group and therefore a good indicator group. Berlinstein examines surveys between 1901 to 1914 that posed questions like, what 10 qualities must a woman have to be perfect? Through these surveys, Berlinstein concludes that by 1914, French women of the Belle Epoque had come to see traditional femininity as a choice, not a destiny. In her article, New Man for the New Woman, Rachel Mesh, professor of French and English at Yeshiva University, considers the role men played in Belle Epoque literary feminism. More specifically, Mesh seeks to understand the widespread effort to which traditionally called for the woman's subjugation to her husband in return for protection, into the egalitarian marriage,